What up, New York Giant Nation? It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, and I just want to take this time out to weigh in on the new Daniel Jones contract. Punch that intro. What is going on out there, New York Giant Nation, man? Look, man, everybody, obviously Daniel Jones finally put pen to paper yesterday afternoon, right at the deadline before you had to announce your franchise, people you were going to put the franchise tag on. And you know what? This deal is so much better than people were realizing. They acting like it's like he just got a Patrick Mahomes like contract or something the way people acting. You know what? This contract, 4 years, 160 million. Yo, it ain't nearly what people think it is. 82 million guaranteed. Look, the reality is the New York Giants. If this doesn't work out, they can wipe the slate clean as early as as early as 2 years. As early as 2 years, they can wipe the slate clean of this, pretty much. This is a deal that works out for the New York Giants because if Daniel Jones hypothetically goes out there and balls out this season, upcoming season, man, and actually rises to the status of a top tier quarterback, now Joe Shane looked like an evil genius because he was smart enough to get this man to put pen to paper right now. Because at the end of the day, he's like currently like about the seventh or eighth highest paid quarterback in the league now with this new contract he just signed. By this time next year, he gonna be somewhere kind of closer to the middle of the road because you got guys like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and ultimately Lamar Jackson is going to get paid, whether it's by the Baltimore Ravens or somebody else. And you got guys like that. Then you're going to have guys like Trevor Lawrence getting ready to start maybe talking about getting new deals worked out with their respective teams. You're going to have potentially, if Tua can come back to full strength and get back to his first year form, he's another guy you can throw in the mix. And then, of course, the MVP runner-up, Jalen Hurts, who's going to break the bank when he signs his deal, whenever that's going to be too. That's about 4 or 5 guys easily that are going to make more money than Daniel Jones regardless. So by this time next year, he's going to be pushed even down further down that list, closer to the middle of the pack. And if he goes out there and balls out, then you'll have a top tier quarterback here in New York making average quarterback money. That's called a win for the New York Football Giant organization. That is called a win. So my hat's off to Joe Shane for getting this done. Hats off to Daniel Jones for getting more money than most people think you was worth. It's the issue here. The issue here, man, is people say Daniel Jones don't deserve this money because he ain't did nothing. Well, you're right. He hasn't. Personally, I would have had a hard time giving him this kind of money my damn self. Not gonna lie. But it's a reason why I'm not the GM. Joe Shane, as he said in his press conference, has seen something. He was wrong, admitted he was wrong about the kid. As you know, before the season last year, did not pick up his fifth-year option because they did not think they were going to be going. He did not think he was going to be ready to go forward with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. But he saw something enough last year, whether it was just, in the games or even just behind the scenes, stuff that none of us know anything about, that made him feel comfortable paying Daniel Jones this kind of money. Because at the end of the day, come this time next year, it will be very average starting quarterback money anyway. And if he goes out there and responds with this new contract and balls out, like I said, Joe Shane gonna look like an evil genius, man. This is just people. Let things unfold. Let things develop. This team took an immense step this year. Daniel Jones was very much a part of that. Whether you like him or don't like him, he was very much a part of the immense step this football team took this year. I'm not necessarily saying he deserved the bag, but at this end of the day, when you look at this contract and the way it's structured, this is a fair deal. It's a fair deal. It doesn't hurt the team very much. Able to franchise tag Saquon Barkley and get an opportunity to work out a long-term deal with him. And it works out. We'll have both of these guys on the roster next year, ready to go. You take this whole entire rest of this offseason, add a couple more pieces to this offense to help this offense go. And let's see what happens, man, before we start just forming these opinions. Get on my Facebook page, looking down my Facebook timeline, Eagle fans, mostly Eagle fans, talking all this craziness about, how the Giants is going to suck. They're going to regret giving him this contract. How they know? What do they know? The contract to a quarterback led us to the playoffs this year? I mean, that's at the end of the day, whether you want to give him credit for that or not, he led us to the playoffs this year and got a playoff win. So at the end of the day, this is a fair contract. You got to look at it and read between the lines. Like I said, if it don't work out, perfect. And if worst case scenario, it don't work out, 2 years, wipe the slate clean of it. Move on. Figure it out. But if it do work out, then we just got over. And the New York Giants is winning. Because like I said, by this time next year, this contract Daniel Jones just signed that everybody's hee-hawing about is going to be very average starting quarterback money. Very average. Nothing special about it at all. He didn't come out here and absolutely break the bank. Like I said, there's still like 6 or 7 guys that make more money than him, starting quarterbacks that make more cash than him. Though it ain't like he came out there and got some Deshaun Watson type contract. Like, just give me a break, people, man. Like, relax, man. And let stuff play out. Let trust in Joe Shane, New York Giant Nation, is what I'm saying. Trust in Joe Shane. Has he led us wrong yet? Because he ain't made a move that has upset me in one way yet. I am good with everything Joe Shane has done thus far in his tenure here as the GM, and I'm not going to start doubting him now. And if he feels like this is the guy, after seeing things play out this year the way they did, then I got confidence that Joe Shane knows what he's talking about. Because he took a roster last year that was not a very good roster. And he had and he brought in Brian Dable to be the head coach and had this team competitive and made them a playoff team. So with the roster getting better, which I would assume it's going to do this offseason, expect the team to just suddenly get worse? I mean, I hope not. I hope Daniel Jones doesn't let us down. At the end of the day, though, we got to wait and see. He kept coming off his best year as a pro. The numbers might not indicate that. 15 touchdowns. Yeah, sure. Of course we want a lot more than that. Of course we want a lot more than 15 passing touchdowns. But get him a couple competent receivers out there, and maybe we will get that. I mean, nobody wants to talk about that stuff, man. Everybody wants to say those are making up excuses for Daniel Jones. We're not making up excuses for Daniel Jones. Facts are facts. None of the receivers that were on this roster this season, as far as not talking about Sterling Shepard earlier in the part of the season before he got injured, but other than that, basically, the receivers on this roster, and Kenny Galladay was an immense letdown, the receivers that he had to play with, the Isaiah Hodgins and the Richie James and the Darius Slaytons, none of those guys are more than number 3 on pretty much most rosters in the league. Not at all. Not more than the number 3 on the receiver depth chart on most rosters. And that's at best. So that's what he was working with. Rookie tight end, starting tight end, who got injured in the middle of the season and missed some substantial time right when he was getting his legs under him. So give him another year of development and see what can happen. But let Joe Schoen work, man. Let Joe Schoen work. Trust in the process. Like the Philadelphia Sixers said, trust the process. You know what I mean? So just let it play out, fellas. Everybody, you don't just think that this was just some dumb move and we just overpaid immensely for Daniel Jones. Maybe overpaid slightly compared to if you want to look at his resume. You can say we overpaid, but at the end of the day, this is a very fair contract when you really look between the lines. And if he comes out there and shows up and shows out, the New York Giants and Joe Schoen are the ones that won. Man, that's about all I got for this one. I want y'all to make sure y'all tune in to the Premium Takes podcast. Coming back at y'all live this Sunday. Just make sure y'all tune in to my guys, the Horsemen. And as a matter of fact, here's a little quick sneak peek. So most definitely coming your way Sunday. The Premium Takes podcast, man. The Horsemen will ride. We cover everything sports, man. Not just the New York Giants. We talk about football, baseball, basketball, wrestling, UFC. You know what I mean? We cover it all on the Premium Takes podcast, man. You never know what you're going to get. So check me out with my guys, NYG Jeffy T, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, man. We going to bring that heat for y'all on Sunday. But thanks for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe, share the video out, like, all that good stuff. Help the channel grow, man. Appreciate the continued support. This y'all boy Mac the Giants fan, man. Pass! I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.